Okay, this screen recording is going to go over some of the rules and procedures in more detail for those of you who haven't been in my classroom, or some things that have changed if you were in my classroom before. When you enter the room, being on time means being in your seat when the bell rings, having all your materials with you. So work on getting to class on time, having all your materials, and be in your seat when that bell rings. Banned items. Some items I don't want you to bring: food, drink, toys, electronic games, that sort of thing. If you need to stay hydrated, I understand, but please put water only, in a spill-proof container. Not just something with a lid, but something that if it tips over, it's not going to spill. Also, gum is fine until I find evidence of it, like in the carpet or on the seats, and then I'm going to have to ban that as well. A biggie, though, is bringing your backpacks into the classroom. I know some students like to carry their backpack instead of using their locker, especially with the shortened bells. That is fine, but I have a bench out in the hallway. You can leave your backpack out there and take out all the materials that you need. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, then I would suggest that you leave it in your locker. Okay? There's a couple of reasons why I don't want them in the room. Specifically, we don't have the room for it. With this many desks and this many students, there's just no room for that many backpacks in here. Plus, those of you who know me know that I'm a klutz, and I will trip on my own feet, so I don't need other things causing me to fall down. Yes, it would be funny, but it would not be fun for me. Some areas not to go in. That back room is off limits unless I say, hey, a group can go back there, or maybe the whole class to go back there. But for the most part, stay out of the back room. That's just for the English department. Other places would be the teacher's desk area, of course, and that's because all the materials that you need are over there on the counter, such as a stapler, punch, those sorts of things, Kleenexes. And then that first top drawer is where you'll find the rest of the student areas. So rather than coming to my desk asking for something, check over there on the counter or in that drawer. Cell phones. This has changed over the years. I've tried various ways to keep cell phones from being a distraction. This year I am going to no cell phones out in the classroom. If you have a cell phone, I'm going to have a basket on the counter for you to put them in, and then I will lock them in my cabinet so you can feel safe knowing that your phone is in a safe place. Okay, so don't leave it on your desk, don't leave it in your pocket, anything like that, because then you're likely to be disturbed by it. If I see you using your phone, whether that's third period or eighth period, I'm going to take the phone away and I'm going to turn it into the office, and you can get it at 3:30. Okay, if it becomes a problem, it happens more than once, then you're going to have to come in and talk to me before or after school. Okay, I know you like your cell phones. You've been on them all summer. I've been on mine. I'm going to have to work on that too. If we're using it for a class activity, that's different, but for the most part, it will be locked in a cabinet if you bring it with you. If you didn't bring it with you, then don't put it in the basket. Other electronic devices, if you have an iTouch, laptop, Kindle, that's fine, but it has to be for classroom purposes, and you're in charge of it. If it gets lost or stolen, it's not going to be my responsibility. Chromebooks. We have a class set. Used to have 30, but a few have been broken or have issues that need to be fixed. So let's take care of the ones that we do have, and that means treating them kindly. A lot of times I'll see students carrying them with the top part of the screen. Chromebooks are fairly inexpensive because they don't spend a lot of materials to make them, so they're not as durable as a laptop or other devices. Doesn't mean they're not good products, it just means that they won't withstand some of the torture that you normally would put on your devices. Also, they will typically be out on your desk unless your first period, the first class that I have, or the last class will be responsible for putting them away, and that's using the number that's etched on the back and putting them away in the charge port. I will plug them in and unplug them, but you're responsible first period, last period. The class begins when you enter. I'll typically have something on the board, whether it's called a jump start or whatever. There'll be something on the board telling you what to do. It should take 3 to 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more. And you're to start that without any direction from me, because I have to take attendance every day. Otherwise, I get an email or a phone call from the office. So I have to do that right away at the start of class, or I'm likely to forget. If you happen to finish with it ahead of time, just sit quietly. But most of the time, it's going to take the full time. And if you don't finish it during that time, it's going to be your responsibility to do later. So I'd recommend that you use the time given to you and get that done, because you're likely to forget later, and it is a graded assignment. Tardy. If you happen to come in late or you had an appointment and you come in late, simply put the pass on my desk. Don't interrupt class. Don't walk up and hand it to me. Just put it on my desk. I'll get to it and see it and note it in PowerSchool. Every single tardy, whether it's excused or not, has to be recorded in PowerSchool. Okay? Every single one. If it's unexcused, if it's marked unexcused by the office, then that results in a detention, meaning you have to set up a time with me to come in before or after school and find out what's going on and if it's going to be a problem. So if it's excused, fine. If it's not, then we will discuss what's going on and why you're not getting to class on time. Attendance. At the start of the year, I use note cards until I learn all of your names. With 100 students, it's going to take a while. So pick up your note card off the counter and have it visible, just like a nameplate on your desk, until I learn your names. Seat work time. I don't want you to just be up roaming around the room or leaving your desk without permission. So please just be responsible and ask. We have to keep the classroom quiet too. This is a reading and a writing class, so it requires a lot of concentration. I sometimes might have quiet music playing in the background if we're reading or writing, but for the most part, we need to keep the room quiet so that everybody can concentrate and get as much done as possible. The lanes, the aisles are there for you to use. We don't have a lot of room, so please don't be jumping over to get to the next lane. When I want your attention, I'm going to raise my hand. If you see my hand up, then you put your hand up. Once all hands are in the air, then we can move on. Turning in assignments. Unlike most classes, this class will have an assignment folder for you already set up in your drive. I'll put the assignment in the folder for you. You just simply need to do the assignment while it's in your folder. When it's due, I will take away your editing rights, and then you won't have access to it anymore. You can still view it, but you won't be able to type on it. So if I say an assignment is due Thursday at, say, 8 p.m., that means Thursday at 8 p.m., I will get on and take away your editing rights. So you need to be sure to have all your assignments done on time, okay? That means not only the day, but the exact time that we set up. Everything, since this is a English class, needs to be in MLA format. We'll discuss that at more length, okay? Your headings will already be set up on your assignments for you. You just need to change it to your name, the date that it's due, what section you're in. Okay, failure to do that little bit will result in lost points. I send out the assignment, it's got the header on it. You just need to change the information. If you finish an assignment early, that's fine. Bring a book. Most of the time we'll have a book, choice book that you're reading anyhow. Just bring it with you every day. Locker and bathroom has changed too over the years. I used to give out 2 per quarter or monitor that really closely. This year, my policy is going to be that you can go to the bathroom or to your locker, which you shouldn't have to because you should bring everything with you, but it has to be after instruction. Okay, so if we have work time at the end of class, I would just ask that you could wait until that time, then you could go. Just like you, I can't go to the bathroom whenever I want. I have to kind of monitor that and try to use passing period to do so. So I would just ask that you wait until after instruction is over and then ask to go to the bathroom. If it becomes excessive, meaning more than once a week, I will notice and I will talk to you about it and see if there's an issue. Maybe you're leaving the classroom for a reason, you're bored, probably, or you just want to go roam the hallways, all right? Or there could be a medical condition. I don't know these things, so I might just pull you aside and ask. If it continues to happen, then I'll get your parents involved and say something's going on here. They're leaving my classroom every day to go to the bathroom. All right, ending the period. This is a biggie. I know you guys watch the clock and you wait for the bell to ring, but I don't want you standing up and waiting by the door, okay? I'll let you know when class is over, not the bell. Standing outside the door is absolutely not permitted. If you want to go get your bag and come back in, that's fine, but you're going to stay inside the classroom until that bell rings, okay? And I'll remind you of that. Homework and assignments, as I said before, you'll get all of your assignments in your assignment folder, and I will remind you. I have emails, I use text reminders, I put it up on the board, I'll remind you verbally in class, I'll inform your parents when it's due, so there is no excuse for late work in this classroom, okay? For every day that it is late, if you're one of those people that you turn in late work, you're going to lose a lot of points. And after 5 days, it's an automatic 0. Okay, so turn your work in on time, do the best work you can. Making up work. If you know you're going to be gone for a track meet, I expect you to make it up ahead of time, or a doctor's appointment. You're responsible for all the material that you missed when you're gone. If we have a quiz coming up in 2 days and you miss class, you need to get that information and be prepared to take the quiz when you come back. Okay, so that's why you need to get all of your assignments. If you're sick, you have 1 day for every day that you're sick or absent that you weren't prepared for. Cheating, you all know what cheating is. I shouldn't have to go into that. If you're not sure if it's cheating, it probably is. So do your own work and do your best work. That's how I know where you're at as a student, as a learner, a reader, a writer. Okay, plagiarism is another thing that we'll touch on extensively, because a lot of students don't know the difference between citing sources and when you don't need to cite them. My theory is, when in doubt, cite it. You can't cite too much. You run into a problem when you don't cite it. So if you're ever not sure, I would say cite it. Binders. We no longer have binders for this classroom, but if you specifically like to have hard copy, I understand. I'm just not going to print them off for you. You'll be responsible for doing that. Okay, I'm trying to save on paper, just like with this rules and procedures. If you want a hard copy of it, print it out, and then you can have it and put it in a binder. Okay, calendars. I use class calendars, and I encourage students to use their own student calendars and sync them with their cell phones, their emails, copy things from my calendar so that you know when assignments are coming up. I will be sending out some information, some video tutorials on how to do that if you're not familiar with it. It is a lifesaver in a lot of times, using Google Calendars to send you notifications so that you know what's coming up and when, and you don't forget. Grammar counts. Grammar includes mechanics such as punctuation, usage such as there, it's, and just other types of grammar such as subject-verb agreement. Okay, so I expect you to follow those rules, especially once we've gone over them and start to apply them in your writing. You'll each have a student portfolio or Google site, and it will house everything that you need for this class, and it'll be one place to access everything. So I will send that out to you. I already created it. All you have to do is tailor it and make it your own by changing the themes and fonts and so on and so forth. Participation, I have various ways to get you involved, such as group work, learning teams. I expect you to participate and listen when others are sharing. Grading, I'm good at grading and getting them in as fast as possible. Don't ask me what your grade is. Wait a day or two and it'll probably be in PowerSchool. Choosing groups, I do this in a number of ways. Sometimes it's based on ability, but more often than not, it's based on want to mix it up with boys and girls, some strong leadership, and maybe some quieter students. So I will use those throughout the year. Sometimes I use learning teams for the entire year. Behavior, check this out if you're worried about it. Most of the time I just have to ask you to follow the desired rule, and that's the end of the story. If it becomes an issue, I might take away some points on the assignment, or have a detention for you to come in and talk about your behaviors, or contact your parents or guardian. Sometimes I'll move you out into the hallway or into the back area if you're disturbing the entire class. And last case scenario would be sending you to the office. Okay. What kind of things might result in a detention? As we discussed, bringing items you're not supposed to have, being tardy to class all the time, constantly going to the bathroom every day, or just disturbing other students and not following any of these rules, or just any behavior that I think is not conducive to the class environment. Finally, I expect you to take every opportunity to get the most out of every class and the learning opportunities that are in front of you, and let's have fun doing it.